and this is episode 7. This this really serves as the part 2 to episode 6, which was things that I've learned in a year. I'm sorry, that I've learned say this year. And it's funny because some of those things, well, let me start over. I want to thank y'all first for tuning in. See, I kind of just flowed into it. But I want to thank y'all first and foremost for following along so far. I'm happy to announce that by the time this airs, I will have exceeded, how you say it in Spanish? 100. I'll be over 100 subscribers. So, to the 100 of y'all that have subscribed, to those who have commented and just all out support, I appreciate it. And I'm excited because a lot of people don't ever really pursue what they passionate about, or they don't make it a point to, I don't know, sometimes it's just you don't know how to try, you're scared to start or whatever, and it's not a shade, but I'm happy with myself. And I think the best thing is knowing that I did it regardless of, they say like when you fear something or if you want to do something and you in fear or anxious or whatever, you got to take that with you. And I feel like in my heart, that's what I've been doing, because yeah, that's just where I'm at with that. But episode 7, I feel as though I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I'm learning in, I would say, a year, like from today to back a year. And honestly, I'm still having to learn. And as much I can give the things that I've learned in a year, but to be honest, I'm still learning. And just like sitting up here to do this podcast, just like I don't know, just like everybody else, we all are trying to figure it out as we go. But I felt it important to share my takes because I feel as though maybe people are not considering how they're doing, or it's just something a lot of people don't think about. And we become so used to just like, you know what I'm saying, constantly moving. A lot of people don't reflect on what they have learned or like stuff like that. And so, I don't know, maybe some of my points will resonate. And one thing I want to start by saying is and this is, I guess, I would say lean into curiosity rather than judgment when you're trying to make a decision. As far as things that I've learned, I think that's been the one of the biggest things, because I think it's real easy. I don't know. I feel like it's easier for us to judge ourselves or judge other people rather than taking the maybe ego out of it. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's easier to be judgmental, or people got more of a habit to be judgmental rather than curious. And dang, it's funny because that is one of the lessons that I've learned, but I'm still having to navigate through that, because I talk about people being intimidated to start, and I don't know. I think the judgment come in when you trying to make the big decision, or when you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, how do I say this? I don't know. I think I'm saying it. It's just easier sometimes for people to judge themselves rather than lean into the unknown. Or, yeah. And that, I think, the judgment thing, I think we all are taught to judge ourselves in different ways and for different things. So, I mean, it's not uncommon, but personally, one of the things that I've learned for myself is that, man, leaning into curiosity rather than judgment saves you a lot of anxiety. And then leaning into curiosity rather than judgment opens you up to different vantage points. And on top of all of that, I don't think we were created to be hypercritical of ourselves. And with that, I mean, that's judgment. That's constantly like speaking negatively of yourself or like being hard on yourself. I guess I'm saying that in the right way. So, one of the key things I think I've learned, like I said, is leaning into curiosity rather than judgment. Sometimes you need to just hit start. And I think when you learn, or it's gradual because it's a it takes time and a mental shift to go from one to the other. And then it doesn't help that, man, people are so judgmental. I don't even want to say y'all. I don't want to say this. I don't want to say I feel like that's so common. And in America, I mean, it's like people, I don't know, people get Mario coins if, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I'm being funny, but really, like, it's a lot of judgment that happens. And so when you got a lot of people passing judgment, it make it hard. Like, so that's one thing I would encourage, to lean into curiosity, but don't be judgmental. Don't judge yourself and don't judge others, because you can fall under condemnation or the same type of situation if you lead with judgment rather than love. Or don't lead with nothing. Just don't be judgmental. And with that, man, I want to say don't give unsolicited advice, because that's another thing I've learned, not to receive unsolicited advice. Also, not to receive or care about the advice of somebody who has a life that I don't like. I don't need your advice. I don't really need to know what you would do in my situation, because you will never have to live my situation. And I think I can speak for that. That's so many people. You could think of 5 people right now that have judged you and made you second guess yourself. I don't know who said that. But yeah, man, I'm trying to figure out what which one to say next, or how. Okay, I gotta stop figuring out how to lean into it, and I need to just jump. I'm jumping off Mount Fiji. One thing that I have learned is that some people will never learn. One thing I've learned is that you should give the energy, not energy for energy. I don't even want to say reciprocity. You give the energy, not that you want to return, because what you want energetically and what somebody else want may be 2 different things. But what am I trying to say? Some people, and I want to tread lightly because I don't want to look back and clips have circulated and I didn't articulate something in the best way. One thing I've learned is that it's bad people in this world. And I think, I don't know, I would say keep your heart pure. I was going to say something, but I kind of lost track. Um, yeah. Ooh, okay. I would say keep your hearts pure. And in a world where it's easier or more convenient to be evil or critical, do right by people. Of course, don't be judgmental. Of course, don't be critical. Like I said, lean into curiosity rather than judgment. But don't let this world corrupt you. Don't let people corrupt you. Don't change who you are. And you got to realize Hmm. Trying to figure out how to say this the way I'm trying to say it. I would say keep your heart, keep your spirit pure, and keep guardrails around your peace. But I guess in addition to that, I'm proud of myself because if this was earlier, like the 3 times I've wanted to start over and stop, I ain't even gonna do it. Just kick it like Bruce Lee, like I said. Um, I want to say this too. I'm gonna throw this in there. Let me take a break from the heavy. What you probably are curious as to. Well, you see who it is. The one and only Tyler. Follow with the Nike sweats. But yeah, Lil Pivot. I feel like we in a real funny time because there's a lot of disrespect. And one thing I've learned is to get the energy that you want others to feel. I don't know what epidemic is going on, but you shouldn't be trying to get your get back. Sometimes you need to let the authorities handle it. Sometimes you need to let, you know what I'm saying, life just play out. But it's too much of people trying to get back at somebody because like oh, you end up in like life altering situations. I feel like man, I be feeling like I have so many points I want to hit. I'm kind of in a way speaking to like all the stuff in the news. Maybe if I try to, I got to stop trying to pose it in a way. I want to say keep your heart pure, keep your heart 3 stacks, and just be observant of the company you keep. Don't just be around everybody. And on the other side of that, this ain't a lesson that I've learned. This next thing, I think a lesson that some people should learn is what it means to be respectful and emotionally intelligent and just situationally aware. But as far as the respect part, one thing that people need to really turn their brains on, turn that pineal gland, whatever it is, that third eye, we have to learn to respect each other. We have to learn to understand boundaries. And in understanding boundaries, don't violate your own and don't screw with somebody else's. But when I talk about respect, and this is not going to be when I talk about the respect part, give the energy that you want somebody to feel. So if it's cool with you or whoever you are, this is only you know you. But man, it's just a lot of disrespect. And I don't go for it. I don't go for the way that y'all don't respect people when they have been through stuff. Y'all don't respect people's traumas. Some of y'all are not emotionally intelligent. And I don't like it as a girl. And I'm not going to say I'm just a girl because I'm whole woman. And I feel like to say I'm just a girl paints this image or persona as like somebody that's soft and dainty. I'm soft, but I stand on what I say. And I feel like there's a lot of disrespect going on. I don't understand. I know people got the money to clean stuff up. I know people skip over stuff. I know people like to rewrite current events. I know people don't like facts. Sometimes people like stuff to be fabricated. As a woman, I'm going to speak on behalf of all women, but namely Black women. Treat us with more care because I don't have it in me to just sit on like the truth. Like, and the truth is y'all gotta be, that's one thing that I've learned that some people ain't gonna understand. That's one of the lessons. Some of y'all are never gonna understand what it means to really respect women and really like honor them. And maybe that's because you don't honor the people or, you know what I'm saying, the women that have been in your family. But I find it extremely weird and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that it's embarrassing for me to see what I'm seeing in the news. I try to give metaphors and analogies, but I'm gonna just call it what it is. Pretend this is spades. I'm just putting it on the table. You need to be more respectful to the women. And I say that because I have so many things to say, but it's a whole epidemic because you can't, and like I say, treat others the way you would like to feel. Y'all gotta stop violating, like kicking people when they down. When people actually speak up about stuff or they try to have a voice, don't minimize them. Don't mock them. Don't dehumanize people. And I think, to be honest, at my big age, 35, it's certain lessons that I shouldn't even, it's certain things that I understand. I understand. Everybody, different levels of growth, different levels of understanding. But in this age, this big, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like you have access to everything that you want. Some of y'all are not happy, and it shows in the way that you treat others. And right now, talking about women, because for me, it's like I don't feel like certain things should even have to be called out. And it's embarrassing because while certain things, the way women are treated, the way we sometimes can't talk, sometimes don't know say, sometimes we do talk and it still don't get us nowhere, or it leads to more scrutiny, and it opens us more up. It opens us, it just opens the door to more criticism. And quite frankly, I think I can speak on behalf of all Black women because I'm a Black woman. Y'all got to tighten that up. I want to know, I want to know, I want to know what the issue is, because this also, one of the things I guess I've learned is that some people will never, and this is not just specific to men, it's really a lot of people. Some people will never, you know what I'm saying, get past a certain point. But in regards to the treatment of women, how we just, it seems like is nothing is good enough, or we have to be, women it's like we expect it to be submissive, but ain't no leadership. Ain't no leadership. And if it was leadership, there wouldn't be such, if men knew how to lead, we wouldn't mind following. The reason, and one thing I learned, man, how do I say this? I personally don't think that, I don't know, a lot of men, a lot of people are just impressionable. And you got these people on these platforms who feel like they can say anything, which they do. And I don't know, it's the way y'all market and like really are just chauvinistic and like vile. If I'm saying that right. I think it needs to be more, man, I want to say therapy. I want to say all that, but like grow up, tighten up. I think if you don't like the way, if you won't want your daughter treated crazy, if you don't want your daughter treated the way that you treat women, then you do some self-evaluation. I don't know. I just, man, it's funny because a lot of women actually want to be soft, and you know what I'm saying? But as far as the leadership thing, one thing I've learned is that, man, is I gotta stand my ground. And I think more women need to be about that. And then when I say stand your ground, don't let somebody come along and make you change your stance or lower your self-worth by making you put in the effort, that put the work in, when you supposed to be the one on the receiving end. And I also want to add, man, I don't, this is not even something to add, but guys, like, there's too much femininity and not enough testosterone. And it's funny because I don't know what it'll take, but just be better to women. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, bash or demean. It ain't demeaning, but I don't want to be. Mm, yeah, be better to women. Be better. Think about the way you would want somebody to treat your mom. Think about the way you would want somebody to treat your daughter. I mean, it's pretty simple. Choosing yourself. Choosing yourself is not as one of the lessons. Choosing yourself, I don't so much as think is boundaries, a boundaries thing. I think choosing yourself is, man, choosing yourself means really prioritizing your peace and saying no. I guess in a way it is boundaries, but choosing yourself can look like, man, how do I describe this? I had a thought and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. Letting go of people that you know are no good for you, and rather than accepting things that tear you down or take away from who you are, choose you. And I think when you choose to, it's like choose what you want for you and do what you need to do for you and live your life for you. But it's that's important, because if you're not choosing yourself, then you choosing your man, or you choosing somebody that's not you. And it's funny because you can't ask everybody what to do, and you can't, you just have to choose yourself. You have to prioritize yourself, and you cannot, I feel like, y'all gonna have to bear with me. This, that, pause, small side quest. This is what I think. One of the things that I've learned is to hit go. One of the things I've learned is to hit go. I'm learning that true growth comes from true growth. It comes over time, but like true growth is gonna come when you take steps. And I think sometimes you gotta be okay with being embarrassing, or looking at people thinking you embarrassing. You gotta get out your head. And I'm saying that because even in sitting here, I had to hit go. Not just hitting the, but yeah, man, it's just not, it's not good to just sit on stuff. And sometimes the best thing, if honestly the best thing to do, is make a decision. Um, I know that's easier said than done, but even for me, sitting here, if I would have agonized over the next 6 months over when to start this or what the setup should be, this podcast would have never got started, or it probably would have got pushed back a year. And I remember Tyler. If I say Tyler, y'all should know who I'm talking about. I remember I say Tyler the Creator because some of y'all might not. Silly, but what I'm saying is he was doing this interview with Apple Music, and he was talking to different creatives. He was talking to one lady about, she had like started a couple of businesses or like did a bunch of side stuff, and I forgot her exact question, but I remember the important answer. And then basically his answer was, I don't know, maybe it was something to the effect of like, what do I do? How do I push out this or that if I'm maybe, oh Lord, if Tyler, if you're watching, you know what I'm talking about. It was on Apple Music. But basically she was asking in so many words, how do you express your creativity, or how do you go about the process of just doing something when you might be a little nervous or anxious or stressed? And one of the things that I kind of took away was him talking about how he had all these ideas and all of this stuff that at a point, like all of these different things that he wanted to put out. And at a point, this is when he was younger. By the time you get to different phases of your life, that kind of fades to black. And then the ideas that you had, you didn't create the graphics, you didn't create the visuals, you didn't make the movie, you didn't. It's like you don't want to waste time And it's not to say you need to be doing everything every day, but it's like you don't want to look back and you didn't put your fullest like energy and effort into whatever it is. And it's like, what is it that makes people so uncomfortable with actually releasing stuff? I hear so many people talk about, I want to do content creation. I want to do content creation. I really want to just put stuff out there and I want people to resonate, but I feel like I don't know what to say. I feel like, man, you never know if what you say, and I run into so many people like that where they have a good thing going, but because you self-judging and you're not choosing you, see what I did there? You end up sitting on your crafts. And it is funny, because we look up to people and idolize people all the time for what they do, but we critique, criticize, and hyper focus on what may not work. And it's just a time out for that. Like, because what then are we looking at other people? What is the purpose? Because I don't know, I think people, if anything, the people that you watch and look up to, they just do what they do. And if they set on their gifts like you do, you wouldn't have nothing to be inspired by because they wouldn't be hot. They would be sitting on their stuff. So it's funny too, I gotta say, you cannot rely on inspiration from others. Because baby, when I say you can get you can't rely on validation, you can't rely on cheers. You really just gotta be secure within yourself. Because it will all fade and it won't always be something to be inspired by. Sometimes every time, don't look for the inspiration. It should come. You should, you know what I'm saying, have it. But it's the hitting the go button. It's the doing it scared. Because that's really how you get, man, that's where the juice come from. That's where like you really get to learning yourself because you have to take steps in order to accomplish the goal. I would encourage people to just hit go. Shoot, if you want to start a podcast, start one. You want to play the piano, start playing it. Because I feel like they say like the place, like what is it? The place with like the most dreams, or like, I don't want to say most expensive, but like the cemetery. Is so many people that stuff never self actualized, stuff never came to fruition because they just didn't live to the fullest extent, or they was just scared. And then other side of that, or I guess in conjunction with that, is to just hit go, to do something. It builds character. And then if you think about it, if you sit on your gifts, it's somebody somewhere in the universe. It's God is the way God has stuff set up. There's somebody who needs what you have. And I know that to be true because you need what somebody else got. You need something from them. I don't mean nothing monetarily. It's like the inspiration that you get comes because they did the work. They hit go. So if you're going to be inspired by somebody, you should be inspired and looking at how they go about stuff, not just what they have. Because if you're looking at somebody and just lusting after what they got, that's not the point. Inspiration, I mean, don't hyper focus, don't super compare. But as far as inspiration itself, you got to gather that yourself and don't depend on people for it. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, I want to know. I want to know what lessons y'all are learning because honestly, it's funny. I feel like we all learning different lessons about the same stuff. If that makes sense. Am I saying that right? Did I say that correctly? Oh well, it's in there. But yeah, it's like I was talking about hitting go. I would really encourage people to hit start on the dream or the goal. And I also learned, and I'm gonna kind of wrap it up with this. I learned that even in the process of figuring it out, you're still en route if you really think about it. Because there's so many people that either get a rough start, they have a rough start, or they, I don't know, you learn stuff along the way. I feel like, dang, what was I about to say? Bear with me, y'all. Lost my train of thought. And again, hit and go, hit and start. Don't be afraid to look a way. Don't be afraid to look no type of way to people because people might be judging you off of what they can never do. But I was talking about inspiration and I was saying you just have to you you can't look for people to inspire you, but you also can't look for others to validate you or validate what you do or validate your dream or whatever it is. Because not only who are they, but if they are not accepting of whatever it is you're doing because they got a POV that's different than what you think, I mean, you don't need nobody's validation. You don't need for nobody to tell you, yeah, this is a good idea. This is why prayer is important. This is why meditation is important. This is why being in tune is important because it's not just about manifestation and alignment and all that. It's really just, man, yeah. I think I said that the way I wanted to. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I I hope that y'all are taking away tidbits. I think I'm growing as I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And I don't know, I'm going with the flow, but I also hope that these things that I'm saying stick. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up with that. This has been episode 7. We made it to episode 7. Anxious or not, we made it to episode 7. So thank y'all for tuning in. I want y'all to email me. Well, I'm not gonna say I ain't got a problem with DMs for real because it's coming to a point where like I'll be able to streamline stuff. Um, I just need to cross some T's and dot some I's. But I'll leave my email if y'all have questions, things that y'all want to know more about. If y'all want to know, I guess if y'all want to know stuff about me, that's cool. But I'm not gonna go into all my personal business. But if y'all have questions or you want information as far as um I keep losing my trend of thought. Yeah, I just kind of, I guess my way, what I'm trying to say is, shoot, keep in contact with me. Let me know if it's anything that y'all want discussed. Um, Let me know how y'all are feeling. And before I go, I hope and I don't say hope and pray that y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are leaning into curiosity rather than judgment. And I'm hoping that y'all are all giving yourselves grace. Yeah. So like I said, this has been episode 7. Woo woo. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been the Divine Mind podcast. I'm your host, Simply Priceless, and thank y'all for tuning in. I think that's it. Yeah. Thank y'all. Love and light and all the things.